Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be going over the NBA slate on DraftKings and Yahoo for Wednesday, January the 2nd. We have a 9-game slate today. There are a lot of injuries today that we have to watch. As I'm recording this video on Tuesday night, a ton of guys are questionable that could really impact the slate. So I'm going to try and do my best going through each position, talking about the injuries, how they impact the slate, if he's out, who we should be playing, if he plays, should we be playing that certain guy that's questionable. Give some of my favorite plays on DraftKings and Yahoo. We'll go through both sites, go through each position, give my core 5 plays for both sites. Before we do get started though, guys, I would appreciate it if you would drop a like on the video. And if you are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below so that way you won't miss out on any of my new uploads. But yeah, starting off at point guard today, we got Russell Westbrook at the top of this position, 11,700 on DraftKings. Right now, don't see myself paying up for Westbrook today. He just feels a little bit overpriced. Even though he's starting to perform better as of late, coming off a triple-double, I would still rather play Anthony Davis for $100 more. With all the injuries on this slate, I expect this to be a stars and scrubs kind of slate where there's going to be a lot of really cheap value to where we could fit in multiple studs. And I think Anthony Davis is the stud that I'm prioritizing today. He's listed as questionable, but he's actually probable. AD's expect to play. He burned a lot of people last slate, including myself. He got scratched like a minute before the game started. I was able to get him out of like one lineup out of like 10. So it was a rough night that night, but you gotta kind of forget those things in DFS. I'll be rolling out a ton of AD today. Great spot for him against Brooklyn. So right now, don't see myself paying up for Westbrook, and really don't see myself paying up for point guard in general. I think point guard offers some value. We'll talk about in a second. At the top, though, I really don't want to go to a ton of these guys. I just don't see myself paying these salaries for the players we have at the top here. I think I like some mid-tier plays at point guard. So looking in the mid-tier, Brandon Ingram's not specifically on DraftKings. I don't mind him on DraftKings 6,400, but I do want to talk about him on Yahoo. Over here, he's $23. I think Brandon Ingram is a very good play over on Yahoo. He's shooting guard eligible over there. Really like him over there. He just feels way underpriced. He's one of the few Lakers that really didn't see a big price increase. Some of the Lakers have been priced up a bit on Yahoo. Brandon Ingram still remains way underpriced in my opinion. Put up a 48-point game last game against the Kings. Nearly had a triple-double. Was 3 rebounds and 1 assist shy of a triple-double. That's the kind of upside that Brandon Ingram has when LeBron James is off the court. LeBron's already been ruled out for this game, so I'd expect another big game here out of Brandon Ingram. And I like him a lot. Over on Yahoo at $23. On DraftKings at $6,400. I think he's okay, but I don't think he's going to be as big of a priority as he is over on Yahoo. Jeff Teague remains questionable for this game. Derrick Rose is unlikely to play. If Jeff Teague is out, Rose I expect to be out. We could definitely go back to Tyus Jones. He's $5,600 on DraftKings. He's $17 on Yahoo. I do like him today if Jeff Teague is out. Elfrid Payton specifically on DraftKings I like quite a bit. At $5,300, his first game back from injury, he only played 24 minutes. The Pelicans did announce that they were going to limit his minutes. If we get Payton in his full minutes here, he's not going to be limited. If that's the case, I like him a ton at $5,300. The guy just has too much upside when he's playing full minutes to be this cheap. He has 35, 40-point upside. When Payton was playing full minutes earlier this year, he was putting up big games, 36, 37 minutes, 43 DraftKings points. When he played against Brooklyn earlier this year, he played 31 minutes, was healthy for that game, 30 DraftKings points. Like I said, we're going to have to watch the injury news. We're going to have to look at TweetDeck. Just be keeping your eyes on news. Make sure you're up to date on news. If Elfrid Payton is not limited today, if he plays full minutes, I like him a lot on DraftKings at $5,300. But talking about the value here, there's a value play I want to touch on, very cheap. So right now, there's 2 value plays I actually want to touch on. So the first guy, Tomas Satoransky, I expect to continue to be a good value play. John Wall is going to be out for the season, so Satoransky is not going to be this cheap the rest of the season. His price is going to slowly start to increase. So while he's still $4,600, I think he is a pretty good value play. He's played 30-plus minutes in 2 straight games without John Wall, 24 and 35 DraftKings points. I'd expect 30-plus minutes again out of him today. I'd expect close to 30 DraftKings points. Great matchup against the Hawks, great pace for this game. I think earlier this year they played the Hawks and John Wall was out. Satoransky only played 20, or it wasn't that game, but there was a game earlier this year I feel like where John Wall was out and Satoransky put up a big game against the Hawks. So I do like him at 4,600. He's still pretty cheap on Yahoo as well. He's only $15 over here. I think I would try and find the $2 to get up to Tyus Jones, but if you need the savings, I don't mind Satoransky at $15 on Yahoo. On DraftKings at 4,600, I think he's definitely a good value play over there. But the punt play I want to talk about is Malik Monk. So right now we have news that Jeremy Lamb is doubtful. He is unlikely to play for the Hornets, which could potentially lead to Malik Monk starting. Potentially, I wouldn't imagine he starts. I wouldn't imagine they start him alongside Kimba. But there's a chance he starts. He did benefit a lot last game from Jeremy Lamb being out. He did play 24 minutes and put up 35 DraftKings points. I expect Malik Monk's minutes to be around that range in the mid-20s, maybe could even potentially be more than that. Monk's always been a productive fantasy option. When he's on the court, he's going to shoot, he's going to get some assists, he'll grab a few rebounds as well. Very good scorer. I like Monk a lot at 3,600. He still feels underpriced for his role the role he's going to have now that Jeremy Lamb is not expected to play. He's one of the punt plays I like a lot on this slate. There's another player from the Hornets I think going to be pretty popular, and I think makes a lot of sense for value. But Malik Monk I like quite a bit. He's pretty cheap on Yahoo as well. He's $12 over here, so I do like him at shooting guard. There are a lot of shooting guard plays I like on Yahoo, which is probably going to lead to me not playing a ton of Malik Monk, but I'd still like him at $12 if you want to play him over there. Another injury I forgot to mention, though, is Kyrie Irving. He's questionable right now as I'm recording this video Tuesday night. If Kyrie were to miss, obviously Terry Rozier is going to be a really good play. Terry Rozier on DraftKings is 5,300. Kyrie's out. Obviously like him a lot. His minimum price on Yahoo, if Kyrie's out today, I'm going to be playing Terry Rozier in probably every lineup on Yahoo. Just way too cheap, minimum price. He's going to play 34, 35 minutes if Kyrie's out. Probably going to put up near 30 fantasy points, if not more. Great play over there, but going to have to wait and see on Wednesday the status of Kyrie. So let's move on to shooting guard now. So I do like paying up here. I like Bradley Beal a ton today. Probably one of my favorite plays. Factoring in that John Wall is out, I think Bradley Beal is a great option here against a fast-paced Hawks team, a Hawks team that is not good defensively. Great spot for Bradley Beal. He's going to play a ton of minutes if this game's competitive. He's probably going to put up 45 to 50 DraftKings points. The last two games, without John Wall, he's played 38 minutes in both games, 54 and 42 DraftKings points. Over on Yahoo, Bradley Beal is only $39. He's cheaper than Drew Holiday. He's only $1 more than Devin Booker. I think Bradley Beal is also a great play over on Yahoo. I'm going to have a ton of lineups where I have Brandon Ingram and Bradley Beal together. I like both of those guys a lot at shooting guard. Like I said, since Malik Monk's shooting guard on Yahoo, that's probably going to lead to me not playing a ton of him because I like Ingram and I like Bradley Beal so much, and both of those guys are shooting guard. If Monk was point guard eligible, I'd probably be playing more of him on Yahoo, but since he is shooting guard eligible, I'm going to have to prioritize the two guys I mentioned over him, but still would play him in at least one or two lineups with how cheap he is. And I feel like he does have upside here, especially with Lamb doubtful. But back to shooting guard, love Bradley Beal. I think he's a top play on the slate. Still feels a little bit underpriced for John Wall being out, especially when you factor in the matchup with the Hawks. But now other shooting guards that we could go to. You have Brandon Ingram here, who I don't mind. If you want to play Wiggins if Teague potentially misses, I think we could go back to Wiggins, but I think I'd rather play Brandon Ingram over Wiggins. Looking a little bit cheaper, Josh Hart's been playing really well with LeBron out, been starting for him, been playing a lot of minutes, but his price tag's really starting to catch up now. He's up to $5,300 on DraftKings, and I believe he's $16 over on Yahoo. There's just other plays I'd rather play. If Elfrid Payton's going to play full minutes, I would rather play Elfrid Payton at the same price tag. Honestly, might even play Dennis Schroeder over him. I definitely would play Terry Rozier over Hart today if Kyrie is out. So won't see myself getting to a ton of Josh Hart today, especially with the price increase. Nick Batum should benefit from Jeremy Lamb being out. I don't mind him at all today at 4,600. He's probably going to be a pretty popular option. I do expect him to benefit a lot from Lamb being out. Batum has not been a good fantasy option all year, just hasn't shown any upside. But with Lamb being out, should benefit, should see a bump in usage at 4,600 on DraftKings, shooting guard and small forward eligible. Over on Yahoo, I think he's really cheap as well. $15 a small forward. Definitely like me some Nick Batum today, if it is true that Lamb is going to miss, which I expect him to. I still think I'd play Satoransky over Batum, but it's pretty close. You can play Batum at small forward, so if you do want to play Satoransky at shooting guard, you could play Batum at small forward, at least on DraftKings. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on to small forward now. Shooting guard, pretty straightforward for me. I think I'm going to be either paying up for Bradley Beal here or going to some of the guys I've already mentioned back at point guard that are shooting guard eligible. Moving on to small forward now. So we do have Paul George at the top here at 9,200. Paul George been an absolute beast for the Thunder this year. Been a surprise how good this guy has been for fantasy. Playing alongside Westbrook, I would not expect him to be a guy that's going to average 50 fantasy points on a nightly basis, but that's kind of what he's been this year. It is a spot against the Lakers where I do expect Paul George to succeed. 9,200 though, that price doesn't feel too much, but Paul George is not a guy that I really play a lot when Westbrook's healthy, especially on a 9-game slate. I think there are other spots I'd rather go to, but if I was playing a lot of lineups, I would definitely get exposure to Paul George. But if I'm playing like 3 lineups, even like 10 lineups, I don't see Paul George getting into any of those just because there's other guys I'm going to prioritize over him. But if I were playing a lot of lineups today, I would get some exposure to Paul George, but like I said, not going to be a guy that I really force in, even in a spot against the Lakers where he should succeed. But let's talk about some other small forwards. Kyle Kuzma, obviously going to benefit from LeBron being out, but his price tag's starting to get up there. He's $7,500 on DraftKings. On Yahoo, he's $32. Probably going to go a different route today. Don't see myself playing a ton of Kyle Kuzma. I think small forward on Yahoo, I like Jimmy Butler quite a bit for a little bit cheaper. I think Nick Batum's going to be a really good option at $15 if we want to go to him. Kyle Kuzma, if I can find a way to fit him in, I'll try to, but I don't think he's going to be a priority for me on this slate. So other small forwards I'm going to talk about, or at least that stand out to me. Not really a ton catches my eye. You have Batum here, who you could play, who I do like quite a bit. Jeff Green, I expect to be a pretty good option today against the Hawks, especially since Markieff Morris is not expected to return for this game. Green's benefited a lot from Markieff being out, playing big minutes the last 2 games, 33 and 38 minutes, 25 and 42 DraftKings points. Great matchup with the Hawks. I do like Jeff Green quite a bit at 4,400 on DraftKings. Pretty cheap on Yahoo as well, I believe. He's $15 over on Yahoo at power forward. I think Jeff Green is a pretty good value today. Markieff not expected to play, so I do like me some Jeff Green. But that's probably it for small forward. Well, one more guy I want to touch on. So DeMarre Carroll is 4K over on DraftKings. I do like him quite a bit over here. I expect him to benefit a lot today with Rondé Hollis-Jefferson already ruled out for this game, and Allen Crabbe is also out. He's put up 30 DraftKings points in 2 straight games. He played 35 minutes that last game against the Bucks, and Rondé Hollis-Jefferson did get injured in that game. I'd expect Carroll probably plays about 33, 34 minutes here if this is a competitive game. I like him quite a bit on DraftKings. He's minimum price on Yahoo. That's where I have a ton of interest in him at power forward. Minimum price, I do like DeMarre Carroll a lot over here. I think he's a really good play on DraftKings as well at 4K. There are a lot of good plays, though, for a little bit more, like Jeff Green. I might feel safer getting up to Jeff Green or Batum, but don't mind me some DeMarre Carroll at 4K. I think he is a pretty good value if you're trying to go cheap at this position. But where he's minimum price on Yahoo at power forward, I think he's a really good play with RHJ out. But let's move over to power forward now, go over this position. So obviously at the top, talked about Anthony Davis at the beginning. Just love him here against the Nets. Great spot. A Nets team that struggles to defend bigs. Not the best rebounding team. I think Anthony Davis has legit 70, 80 point upside, or could easily put up 70 to 80 points today if this game is competitive against the Nets. With all the value on this slate, I expect it to be pretty easy to fit him in. So I have a lot of interest in AD today on DraftKings, on Yahoo, where he's center eligible and $58. I like him quite a bit over here as well. Like I said earlier, he's questionable, or he's probable right now, so he's expected to play. Even though DraftKings has him listed as questionable, I expect AD plays today, and I just have a ton of interest in him. I think he's a really good option if you can pay up for him, which should be able to do so today with all the value I see and all the value that's potentially going to open up. Let's look at some other power forwards. If you're not playing AD, I think you can definitely go back to Julius Randle, 8K. Even with AD on the court, Julius Randle been very productive, been a good fantasy option. Over on Yahoo, he's pretty cheap over here as well. I wouldn't say he's pretty cheap, but he's feels underpriced at $37 on Yahoo. So I do like Julius Randle, especially in lineups where you don't have exposure to Anthony Davis. Some other power forwards, though, that we could potentially go to. If Dwayne Dedmon's able to play, I don't mind him at 5,800. If he is out, though, that's going to open up Alex Len as a value option. We will talk more about him at center, but Dedmon's been playing really well lately. It's a great matchup against the Wizards. I do like Dwayne Dedmon quite a bit today if he's able to go. He's also relatively cheap on Yahoo. I think his price has caught up a little bit, but he's still a little bit cheap. $19 over here. Dedmon's shown big upside. He's been getting the minutes lately. Only reason he played 28 minutes in that game against Minnesota was because he got into some early foul trouble. I expect Dedmon to be a pretty good play today if he's able to go, especially in a good matchup with the Wizards. So I do like him at center on Yahoo and at power forward on DraftKings at 5,800. I think he's a really good play over here. But the guy that I want to talk about on DraftKings specifically is Thomas Bryant. He's 4,700. I think Thomas Bryant is a really good play on DraftKings, especially since you can play him at power forward and center. Dude's been playing big minutes, been really benefiting lately with Markieff being out. He's played 30-plus minutes in 2 straight games, 33 and 41 DraftKings points. I'd expect Thomas Bryant probably plays 32-ish minutes again. Great matchup with the Hawks, great pace of this game. Thomas Bryant legit has 40-point upside, and rarely do you find 40-point upside at this cheap of a price tag. I expect him to be pretty popular today, even with the price increase, but he's still one of the top values on DraftKings in my opinion. Don't think he's as necessary on Yahoo because he's $17 at center, and there are a lot of other plays you could go to. You could go to Lynn for cheaper. If Dwayne Dedmon's out, I like him. You could play Wendell Carter at the same price. If Dedmon's able to go, you could find $2 and get up to him. I still do like Thomas Bryant on Yahoo, but definitely not as necessary, especially since you can only play him at center. And I feel like probably one of the better values on the slate is at center that we're going to talk about in a second. But on DraftKings, where you can play Thomas Bryant at power forward, I think he's a great play at 4,700. Then you got Jeff Green, who you can play at power forward, who I like. You got DeMarre Carroll, who you can play at power forward, who I also like at 4K. Let's go ahead and move on to center. Quickly go over this position before we end the video. So at the top here, you got Joel Embiid at 10-6, facing the Suns. I do like Embiid today, but not going to be someone that I prioritize, that I force into my lineups. It's obviously a great matchup. The Suns have struggled to defend bigs all year. DeAndre Ayton, not a good defender, not the best rebounder. Embiid should be able to have his way in this matchup, but I'm still going to prioritize Anthony Davis over him. Over on Yahoo, Embiid is, I believe, he's $8 cheaper than Davis, and I still think I would prefer Davis in that situation. On DraftKings, Embiid's $1,200 cheaper, and I still think I would prefer Davis. If I can find a way to fit Davis and Embiid into the same lineup, I'll try and do so. I think it can be done on this slate because I expect there to be a lot of cheap value. But if I have to just pick one guy to pay up for, it's going to be Anthony Davis today, not Joel Embiid. Karl-Anthony Towns on the other hand, I like quite a bit here, especially if Jeff Teague is out. Just without Teague and without Rose on the court, without Jimmy Butler on the court, Karl-Anthony Towns sees massive usage. Going to have to take a ton of shots. The last 2 games, with both Teague and Rose out, he's took 23 and 24 shots. And he's put up 86 and 69 DraftKings points. Obviously, it's not the best matchup against the Celtics, but 9,600 is too cheap for Karl-Anthony Towns if both of those guys miss today. So right now, Towns is a wait and see for me. If Teague plays, I think Towns is a fine play, not a priority for me. But if Teague is out and we get Tyus Jones starting again, I love Karl-Anthony Towns today. He's probably one of my favorite centers to pay up for. I would definitely take the $1,000 in savings off of Embiid and go down to Towns if Teague is out for today. But if I'm not paying up for center, there's a lot of value I like at this position. So right now we have news that Cody Zeller not expected to play today for the Hornets, which potentially could open up Willie Hernan-Gomez, probably one of the top values on the slate. He's only 3,800. I expect him to start today for Cody Zeller. It's a matchup where he's gonna probably be forced to play big minutes because going up against the Mavericks, going up against DeAndre Jordan, you're going to need a big out there to guard DeAndre Jordan. I think we get about 22 to 24 minutes out of Hernan-Gomez, potentially even more. And Hernan-Gomez is a very productive player. 14 minutes against the Magic, 23 fantasy points. 14 minutes against the Nets, 23 fantasy points. If he plays anywhere from 22 to 24 minutes, could easily go for 30 to 35 fantasy points. So 3,800, if we do get Hernan-Gomez starting, I think he's one of the top values on the slate. He's minimum price on Yahoo. I love him a lot over there as well. $10 minimum price. Great play on both sides. Great value on this slate. Willie Hernan-Gomez, lock it up. Hope to see him in the starting lineup. He should be starting. And if he is, I feel very safe projecting him for probably mid-20s in minutes, if not more. But yeah, guys, I think that's it for center. Center for me today, I'm probably going to be playing a lot of Hernan Gomez here if I'm going cheap. But if I can pay up, I do like Embiid a little bit. I like Davis, obviously, and if Jeff Teague and Rose are both out, I think going back to Karl-Anthony Towns makes a ton of sense at 9,600. But that's probably it for center today, and I think that's it for the video. So hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. Hopefully it did help you. If you enjoyed the video, just make sure you click that like button down below. Make sure you subscribe if you have not already, and if you do have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Or you can always hit me up on Twitter at the DFS_GOAT. But yeah, guys, good luck tonight on this 9-game slate. We'll see you in the next video. Peace.